Well, we're back with TwoSun Tuesday, and this one has become one of my favorites over the last few months. This is the TS358. As you can see, this is a button lock, and as you can also see, you can swap that clip over to the left side, which is not something that's been done on a whole lot of TwoSuns thus far, but glad to see it. You can see the other side here. You can probably see just a little tiny bit of a waver going on here. I accidentally bent the absolute loving crap out of this pocket clip the other day. So basically just bent them back into place, and yeah, that hole there isn't super perfect, but hey, there you go. It is a titanium pocket clip. But as you can see, yeah, it's folded over. It's not a milled clip, so it's not quite as strong as some of those guys are. This is a D2 folder here, as almost everything is. Looks like I got number 11. Woohoo! But yeah, there's a lot to love about this thing here. So let's go ahead and get into it. We got a 3.8 millimeter blade stock thickness going on here. That's basically fairly standard for TwoSun. Maybe just a little bit thicker than what absolutely needs to be, but hey, it is what it is. The blade inside here is nicely tucked in there. I can't really access that, so we don't really have any snaggle teeth going on there. We don't have, like what we've had on some others, we don't have any indications or outdents on either side for that button lock there, which that's perfectly fine for me because my fingers don't get anywhere near that in any of the particular grips that I want to use. So, you know, it is always nice to have that sort of thing, or at least have it a little bit recessed, but TwoSun hasn't really done much of the recessed versions of a plunge lock thus far. Yeah, the action on this thing is just absolutely ridiculous when that guy when the button lock isn't engaged. That's the word. Jeez, it's late. Sorry about that. But yes, this is a titanium frame lock. We will see later on that this does have quite a bit of weight relieving going on the inside here. That's not to say that it's light at all. It's 5.76 ounces, but I do think that that weight relieving probably took it down from maybe almost 7 ounces or so. But yeah, it's fairly thick titanium, so there you go with that. That would be 163 grams for those of y'all in the civilized world. And this is not a small knife. This is 3.62 inches, basically, from the rounded edge there out to the tip. It's a super, super nice full flat grind. This guy is ground nice and thin. This is yeah, just a cutting juggernaut. I got some cardboard here. I can go ahead and put through its paces just a little bit here. Yep, no effort whatsoever. And I really do like the jimping on the top there. It might be a little less grip than I might want on that. It doesn't quite match the grip on the front sides of these scales, which I kind of wish that it did, but it still definitely does the job. I don't really have any problems with that. This guy is a stonewash finish from the factory, so that's, yeah. I always appreciate a stonewash finish for helping a knife break in over time, so you don't just see a scratch immediately on a satin finish or something like that. So, yeah, all sorts of happy about that. This thing, very, very neutral handle, swells out towards the end, and if this pocket clip, the folded over nature of it didn't curve over, then you could actually stand this up on the end, kind of like the Spyderco Watu. Is that important for any particular reason? Hell no, but I just figured I would throw that out there. And yeah, I mean the neutral um, handle on this guy really ends up making it comfortable for well, especially for me and my larger hands. You can see that I'm not right up on the end there, so that that folded over pocket clip doesn't end up getting uncomfortable. And of course, you can swap that over from side to side. Works super great unless you accidentally catch it on the arm of one of your office chairs as you're sitting down. So yeah, you might want to avoid doing that. But other than that, it ends up working out great. I don't really have any play in that button lock whatsoever. Right now, since I haven't done much with the pivot, I do have just a little tiniest bit of blade play in there. But you know, that's my fault. That's certainly not how it comes out of the factory. And I mentioned earlier the jimping on the top of the blade is just a little bit light. Not so with the sides here. They've got just the perfect match of the deepness that the milling is going through, and that it is they're not scallops. They are just milled lines there. So you get all sorts of wonderful grip, but it doesn't feel sharp at all. It just, you know, really gives you a nice secure grip, kind of like honestly, some fairly aggressive peel ply texture G10 would probably do. Has kind of that similar kind of grip feeling to it. Very secure. So, yeah, kudos for them on that. I would love to see some more use this kind of simple milling going on here. Just works out great. And you can see that it stops right before where that pocket clip would interface. At least if you're carrying it right-handed. If you are carrying it left-handed, it is just a little bit on there. But I have actually carried it left-handed. And I didn't really run into difficulty getting that in or out of the pocket. I didn't really feel like it was going to shred things up all that much. So, yeah, not a whole lot negative to end up saying about this guy. It's just a really well executed knife. This Keanu designer, fairly new. He has done one other knife that seems like a lot of people have had a lot of interest in, and that's the TS358 here. It's like I got number 88 of this one. And this is, yeah, just a beast of a cleaver-esque kind of thing. But we do have basically like a chisel point tanto going on here. That does make it very different for trying to sharpen it. And this one is, you know, even larger. It's a beast. But both of them seem to be a hit with people. So, yeah, they got some pretty good design language and knowledge going on there. I should also point out the plunge grind ends back here, so you don't really have much worries about getting a smile after doing some sharpenings on the blade. Something that I absolutely love seeing. So there is that. Let's see. We got the... did we get the blade length? Yeah, it was 3.62 inches, 91.8 millimeters. Pretty sure I covered that earlier in there. But, okay. Let's see. And we have 0.62 of an inch of the handle thickness here. It is chamfered on the sides, but it does have that kind of a flat slab feel, not super curved and contoured. Which, for this thing in particular, I don't mind at all. That ends up being 15.7 millimeters thick, so it's a little bit of a thick boy. But yeah, I've been carrying it recently. And as long as you're wearing something that's not, you know, very thin material, basketball shorts or something like that, I've had absolutely no problems carrying it around. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play with, too. End up doing that in the office quite a bit since my new job has me at least work in the office a little bit. I think once things settle down and I get a little bit more into the groove, I'll probably be in there 2 days a week or something like that. But right now I'm actually in the office all the time, and that is very, very different from what I've done for quite a few years at this point, where I've been working from home. So, yeah, we do have a little bit of a texture, a couple of rings going on that button lock there. It doesn't give a whole lot of, it doesn't give a whole lot of grip, but it does have a distinct feel to it. So if you're not looking and you're not familiar with the knife, you're not going to accidentally mistake the pivot for the button, and you can definitely feel it being proud of the scales there over the rest of it. So yeah, it just works out quite well. So, all right, that is basically the standard stuff that I wanted to cover on this one. If if this thing looks fairly interesting to you, I would certainly seek one out. Like I said, this is pretty quickly become one of my favorites that have come out this year, being 2022. All right. Well, that concludes the standard portion of the review. I am going to go ahead and tear this guy down so we can take a look at the inside. So if that doesn't seem super interesting for you, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. The rest of us are going to go ahead and take a closer look on the inside here. I was going to say I just put that pocket clip back on after rebending it, so that was a little tight. We got their standard T8 hardware. I apparently had a spider on my leg. That's kind of gross. All right. Here's the pivot here. It's, of course, going to give me a little bit of problems with the pins, but there we go. Oh, yeah. I have skiff bearings in here at the moment. But they do... If I can find, there we go. They do use the standard TwoSun style single row bearings for these guys. Putting the skiff bearings in here, it did help. I guess when the push button isn't engaged, it helps that feel just a little bit smoother. And overall, I just kind of like the skiff bearings themselves. They are definitely a pretty piece of engineering, but they don't come standard on the knife. So there you go. There's that. We have the spring here. Seems a little bit wider in diameter than some others that I've seen, but otherwise pretty standard. We have the back spacer there, nothing super special about it. And yeah, we can see just how much weight relieving has happened on these scales, which, quite interesting. I haven't seen, which is actually kind of surprising to me, I haven't seen a dash color variant of this knife where they would do the lightning strike anodization, something that would look a little bit like that. This actually isn't a TwoSun, but it was sitting on my desk, so there you go. But yeah, just very, very sturdily constructed. I do like seeing how much has been milled out of here, but they still are very, very structurally sound as far as the button lock, just machining, and the amount of pressure that it's able to take. And of course, because you have that ability to free swing and thwack it out, that stop pin on this guy is quite quite thick. So you really won't have too many problems with, this thing getting bent out of shape after you've put it through a lot of its paces. And of course, we do have another little internal pin here just to help stabilize that back spacer just a little bit. Let's see. Oh, just get in there and stay in there, boy. There we go. All right. So, putting a button lock back together is always just a little bit more finicky than you would really expect. But, yeah, it's not really a difficult thing overall. Most difficult is usually getting the button actually fully in there with the blade through the pivot and all that sort of stuff. But as you can see, I've taken care of that. I don't have to worry about it. At least I don't think so. You don't want these things jammed. Yeah, you want them to be able to free move. Otherwise, you'll put it back together and you're like, oh, neat, now it's a fixed blade. This sucks. Oh, yeah, make sure that we got that. Oh, I might as well move that skiff bearing over onto there. And, yeah, of course, we have that nice milled out portion there. Fairly easy to smush everything back together. You generally want to, for these guys, hold down the pressure until you at least get the pivot in there. Otherwise, you're fighting that button, which looks like I didn't quite get that in there. So yeah, of course, we're gonna go ahead and open the bastard back up. Now it's moving. Okay. We good. If I go ahead and close it, that of course means that I need to actually have it. I'm putting the wrong end in there. Oh, I'm doing awesome on this reassembly, aren't I? Okay. Sure, I will move the blade out just a little bit. That should allow a little bit more movement. That feels a little better. Looks like I don't have the stop pin being a little bit oh, what's a good southern word? Cattywampus. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, button locks in general are just a little bit more fiddly to put back together, but they're at least nowhere near as bad as trying to do that with like an access lock. Those can be a little bit more challenging for some people to end up dealing with. Yeah. Alrighty, and I will toss the pocket clip back on there too. There we go. And centering's now nice and good, and we are back in there. All sorts of snug and comfortable. Hell yeah. Alrighty. Well, there we are. That is the TS358. a pretty fantastic button lock entry from TwoSun here in that mid range because it's a D2 steel rather than a powder metallurgy. But there we go. So as always, I appreciate y'all for watching and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe, please.